Hey, welcome back everybody. This is another episode of stuff we figured out last year. We were testing bobber stops with our bobbers. We were using the plastic ones over here, and those didn't work out very good. So we ended up going to the cloth ones. We tried the cloth ones, and these didn't work out very good either. But as you would guess, the ones that ended up working out the best were these rubber ones. I'm going to show you how to tie up these rubber ones now. That was a great day. This is a quick video to show you which bobber stopper we've ended up using and picked to be our best one for the season coming up in 2025 here. We got the rubber bobber stops that I've been using for the last couple of years. I've tested them back to back with different groups of people using the cloth ones, and I just haven't had much success. Those cloth ones move too much. It may be because we're using braid. Maybe on mono they'll bite a little bit better. Some other guys that I've talked to have got it to work on it, at least they say they do. For me, it moves too much. And the nice thing about this rubber bobber stop is it's an 8 to 12 pound test bobber stop. And what we're gonna do is get a 15-pound oversized line. So if your line you're using is rated to be about the size of 15-pound line, then get the bobber stops that are 8 to 12 pound line. That way, when you squeeze this over the top, you'll see in a second what I'm talking about, it will be extra tight and it will not move when you cast, or at least not move as much when you cast. As it comes off, it hits these eyes of your rod and it will make that stuff adjust and move when you don't want it to. So let's go ahead and show you real quick how to add one of these on here, and then I add a second one on to keep from losing your bobber, which is an extra tip and an extra reason why I like using these. I'm going to go ahead and grab the line here, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this bobber stop. It's got a bead on it as well. Make sure you get the ones with the beads if you're going to use it for your bobbers, okay? You're going to notice that there is a hole in the top up here, and in that hole you can just go right through it. You see that hole right there between the wire, the eye of the wire. You're going to put your line right through it, and then you're going to make yourself a tag end here off of this main line coming through that loop, just like that, okay? Then what you're going to do is take the ball, and it's going to slide down, and if you don't use the ball and you just use the bobber stop, you can just take either one and slide it down over that eye of that wire and pull like that, and you can see how it's pulling both of these lines through that rubber stop and then completely out, and it's going to pop free just like that. And then you pull this off of the eye here just like this. It slides right out, and now you have this bumper stop on here with a bead, okay? So now what you're going to do, you got your bobber stop on there, you just take your bobber and you're going to thread this down. Now one of the things that I do is I use the gravity to help me feed this down. This is something I see people trying to feed these through until they've had a hard time with it. They don't realize that this is the best way to do it. You have to let gravity help, because this braid is not very strong. It's strong if you're pulling it, but it's not strong when it comes to bending. It bends very easy because it's cloth. There you go. Now you've got your bobber stop on here, and that bobber will come up, and now that, see how strong it is. It's very strong because it's oversized line going through that undersized stopper. So when I cast and it hits these eyes, it's going to be less likely to move on me as it casts. Okay, here's a cool next step, you guys. You're going to go ahead and take a bead and put a bead on here. Okay, go ahead and throw a bead on there, just like that. Now you're going to take your bobber stops and you're going to burn a bobber stop. You don't need the bead, but you do want this bobber stop. So go through that eye of the wire, bring it down and fold it over, just like that. I take them, use them both to pull it off of there. And then you got your bead down here. Now what I do is go ahead and take that bead off, and that's when I'm going to throw my weight on there, however you set your weight up. I have a sliding weight that we use on here so we can detect that bite, and the fish do not feel that weight before the bobber feels it and we see it moving. So it's important to run a slider weight on here, and we just run that down here next and then tie it to our swivel. But this is going to allow you that if this lower end breaks off in the river, This will stop your bobber from coming off, and you're not going to lose a bobber if you ever do get snagged up on the bottom. It's kind of a cool trick. Another reason why we like these rubber bobber stops is because they go on a little bit stronger by oversizing the line and undersizing your rating on the bobber stopper itself. I hope this helps you guys out. Stay tuned to the next video. We're going to be threading the softworm with a needle, and this is a great setup for steelhead and anything, trout or whatever you're going to go for, if you want to go for those big holdovers. And also we'll be testing different types of bobber stops like these ones. These are very thin and they might go through these eyes even better. The reason we want this bobber stop really strong, this adjusts up and down as you cast, and you don't want that to happen. Once you find your magic setup on your bobber setup, you don't want it to be moving up and down and changing your adjustments. That's why it's important on these slider bobbers that this bobber stop is fairly strong so that when you cast, this doesn't move and get longer and longer and longer. As you cast out, it hits these eyes and it stops and it drags and it comes off a little bit more each time. So I'm going to be even testing going down to the 6 to 8 or 4 to 8 pound, I think is what the next size is for this, and see if I can squeeze it over my 20-pound braid. If I can, perfect, because it's going to cast out, not adjust, and I'll be able to get into more fish. I didn't really go over this plastic bobber stopper much. This plastic bobber stopper, the holes are very tiny and they're not really adjustable to the different sizes. You have to be very specific to the size that you get when it comes with it. I think this is like 6-pound test for the size of that hole through there, where these have a bigger hole in there. And these, obviously, you can get whatever size you can squeeze through that rubber stopper. So, okay guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. You guys learned a little bit about what I figured out with the bobber stops, how to oversize that line and undersize that bobber stop so that it doesn't slide going through these eyes on you so much. And you can keep that adjustment, which is very important. As you can see in some of the videos I'm going to play in the back here, I'm going to remind you, please don't forget to subscribe, hit your notifications in your YouTube settings and on your device so you get notified of the next video. Stuff like these new rods that I found in Costa Rica. It's a crocodile rod, super strong. The strength of this thing's unreal. So I'm going to be testing this thing against steelhead, salmon, all kinds of stuff. Probably even go after a sturgeon with this bad boy. We're also going to be trying out different kinds of reels from different places just to show you guys what's working, what's not, get more fish, and save a little bit of money. Hope this helped you guys, and see you on the next one.